here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Thank you. That was a Mad Painter, also known as Thomas R. Becker. He's one of our the only general manager, one of our directors, but the only general manager we have helping us get online these days. This is T.J. Morris, Teresa J. Morris, and we do Friday nights here for T.J. Morris ET Radio, but we're sponsored by ACO Association, which also has the Allied Command officers. And we're not trying to compete with Allied Command over in Europe or the SECURE, but some people, when they pull up the Allied Command organization, that's all they see. But you can pull us up on ACO Association, and then you will see that we also have the Allied Command officers, which we are working on together. And I actually do have the name alliedcommand.org. So that's all the little information that we need. So the domain name is alliedcommand.org, but it will point you now directly to ACO Association. So if you like this radio show, you can thank all those that are attending, which is Ken R. Johnston Sr., Thomas R. Becker, Teresa J. Morris. And for 7 years, we've had Thomas Anthony Sinisi working with us, and so he's chose to put his little donation in the Patreon pot. We have patreon.com/Allied Command Organization. So you know about that now. And what we're doing is building a community and hope to work together. And we're going to go down the line here. Mad Painter's tuned in first, then Ken R. Johnston, and he's our fleet commander of many focused groups on free Facebook, but we'll let him introduce himself in a moment. Let me get a Mad Painter first, then Ken, and then Tommy called in. So, and I'll keep Ken on mute while he's moving around there. So right now, Mad, you're live and on the air. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
My name is Thomas R. Becker, but I go by a Mad Painter everywhere on the internet. If you Google that, you can find me. I've been a radio host for about 10 years. I'm very interested in UFOs and alien contact, even though I've never experienced either one, really. But I do believe, so that's why I'm here. So check out, just Google me. You'll find all kinds of stuff, and I think that's about it.
Well, that was short and sweet. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to unmute Ken R. Johnston, our fleet commander for our ACO Association group. Ken, would you like to?
Yeah, let me. First of all, let me. Testing 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh.
Now you're back. I heard 1, 2, 3 anyway.
Well, okay. I'm testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now we're fine.
Oh, very good. Okay. For those who don't know me, I was one of the first 4 civilian astronauts with Grumman Corporation that built the lunar modules back during the 1960s. My job as one of the civilian astronauts was to test it in the vacuum chambers, be sure things worked good, and then help train the regular NASA astronauts to fly it so that they could go to the moon. And we were one great team, and that's why we accomplished getting to the moon and back, because of people that were dedicated to doing that and not being worried about who we were and what we were. Now, I'm having the privilege of coming forward and telling some of the things that went on in my life that may well be connecting with some of you folks out there that may have had contact with extraterrestrials in your life when you were young or older. And I'm willing to get into that discussion right now, if you want to call it, and we could go from there. So we have a great future ahead of everyone here, and looking forward to the opportunity of making more direct contacts. I think that'll get me started. How's that?
That's great. I like your voice, and your inflection's great. So I'll now, Ken, I'll just leave you on right now, and hopefully we won't have any feedback. But Ahmad, I'm going to get you to help monitor that while I introduce Tommy. Tommy, you can take yourself off mute. I have you open line. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and you represent our Ohana spiritual group, but also the UFO Association. So we're calling ourselves Allied Command because we're grouping our ACO Association, our UFO Association, and our ACE Metaphysical Institute. And then we'll, at the end of the show, mention our spiritual community on Sunday. Can you hear me, Tommy?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Good sound check. Perfect. Go ahead, Tommy.
Loud and clear.
Greetings. I just spent a lot of money on my computer. It better be working okay. Tommy Hawksblood here. I go into Hawksblood1 all over the internet if anybody wants to find me. Most of my books, everything I do is under Hawksblood1. But I'm from Hawaii, the Big Island. A lot going on here with the UFO world. At nighttime, daytime, more people see things by the ocean here in Hawaii. We have a lot of crystal ships, green ships going into the ocean. I guess you could talk to about 1 out of 10 people on a daily basis, and they all say they saw ships or saw something going into the ocean and things like that. So it's really active here. I mean, we're close to the Army base. The Army base is doing a lot of testing here as well. They're testing out their ships and things all the time. We got bombs going off. So it's a wild, crazy place, but I've been involved with this all my life, so it's not anything outrageous to me, but to people that didn't experience it yet, please, I'm putting out a manual on how to see a UFO. It'll help anybody that never saw a UFO see it, and I promise that. All right, TJ, back to you.
All right, thank you. All right, well, we have 3 gentlemen here, and tonight we're going to do Allied Command Organization, bringing in ACO Association, which is integrative with UFO Association org, and how we're going to build our trade association for professional entrepreneurs and those that are independent contractors such as ourselves. And we're going to do what we can to stick with alienology. And what I put up tonight was alienology, cosmology, parapsychology, which I like to delve into precognition a little bit and how that plays with our ufology, of course. And we have June 26th here, I believe it is. On a Saturday, we have a psychic fair I'm involved in. But normally we will talk about different events that we may be participating in together. But we will talk about that and ask as it gets closer to various groups that we will be helping, mainly getting people to join us. So with that said, we're going to talk, and I'm going to turn it back over for, I guess we'll go, Ken, you're sort of the fleet commander of this group, and then Ahmed, and then Tommy, and then me. So we'll rotate that way. So, of course, on my board, you're at the bottom when you called in. So for me, it's bottom up.
I'm lucky I actually got in at the last 5 seconds. So I was trying to get, having had my computer get crashed this past week, and then trying to get everything back up and work again. And I'm not an IT person. I'm a spacecraft pilot and a professional pilot and retiree and all those other fun things. But one of the things that I want us to talk about would be to get into. There goes the computer. I better back away from that thing. It might explode on me. We need to take a look at the fact that the extraterrestrials have tried way back when to make contacts with the powers, the governments, the rulers of organizations all the way back to ancient times in human existence on this planet. And that's to reach the point now to where they realize if they're going to really bring us into the allied organization of intelligent beings in this universe, they're going to have to go directly to us people. So I view what we're doing as a way that we're putting together an organization which indirect with hundreds or even thousands of people that are involved in wanting to make full disclosure of our direct contact with extraterrestrials, because we are now moving into that phase where it's time for Earthlings, us humans, to be able to take our position within the Intergalactic Federation of Planets. So that's kind of where I'm standing tonight, and that's kind of one of the subjects that I hope that we can get into. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the next one up the line. How's that?
Okay.
I totally agree with Ken there. I believe that if we are going to make a disclosure happen, get contact. It's going to be on a grassroots level, and what we hope to create here is a base platform for contact and them knowing that we are all on the same page with wanting contact.
Right, absolutely right. And that's been the problem. Is oh gosh, we're talking about back before the beginning of the '60s, where whenever they did the War of the Worlds movie or the radio program, and some people panicked, even jumped off top of buildings because they thought that we were being attacked by aliens. Well, human beings, you go on the street and you talk to anybody and you say, do you think there are really such things as UFOs and aliens? And 99.9% of people, absolutely, no problem. So I think as a species, we've matured enough that now we're about ready to take our place in the overall galactic of intelligent beings. So yeah, I'm with it all the way with you, guaranteed. Let's make it happen. Who's up?
Tommy.
All right. I'm on top of things from my life as far as the UFO world. I have a little bit different viewpoint because I experienced people that were dealing with abductions of their children, and then they take the children away from them. I had multiple proof in the time frames, which is like 40, 35 years ago, when I was dealing with abductees and they lose their children. I have X-ray sonograms. I was looking at everything at that time frame. So yeah, we have good and bad aliens, and people have to realize whoever we decide to talk with, we will have to be the race that wants to decide to talk to us back. But through my interim, I was only 6 years old when a ship was coming to abduct my brother. For some reason, I'm protected in a lot of different things, which I don't want to go into detail, but I did stop my brother from getting abducted. I worked with on many abductees. So Bud Hopkins' favorite person, who he started his whole career with, was my best friend, and I worked with her for a year. But she never said anything bad about the Greys because she said the Greys never really hurt her. So again, it's what programming a person's given when they're sent off the ship back to planet Earth, or just up into space, however you want to look at it. But there's good and bad in everything, but it's our perception of good and bad. What's an alien's agenda probably is not the same as our agenda. And I always say, the thing I ask, why do you think aliens would really want to come here to help us do what? We can destroy the universe if we got high tech, which we're building constantly. But I can tell you this for a fact, the last thing I'll say, Nikola Tesla worked with an alien race. They gave him his technology, but they knew what he was going to do with that technology. I shouldn't say he was, but what was going to happen to it. And all the weapons that was created out of that are serious weapons to the planet right now. I'll leave it at that.
I agree that there's good and bad in everything, and we're not looking for the bad aliens to contact us, by the way.
Okay. Well, I was one of the fortunate ones to be trained from the time I was born with out-of-body near-death experiences. I didn't think of that as bad because I didn't know good or bad. I just knew I was very sick in the beginning. But the first time I was taken up as a contactee, I wouldn't say I remembered a family. So to me, having a family in space was normal. And then that was before Sputnik came across. So by the time Sputnik came across, I'd already been up off of the planet and in a cloud, so to speak. So I have that reality in my mind, in my consciousness. So from there, I had hepatitis, and so I left my body then. So to me, again, my part in this discussion, our panel, would be bringing forth that I have this relationship with beings that have a soul, is because I learned that we have souls, and our consciousness goes with that. And I traveled out of body, so to me, leaving and coming back is normal. And I have this reality that the family that I had here born on Earth, and I was born here on Earth, they've left, a lot of my relatives. So I'd like to bring to the table in the future. Let's hope we have an event of our own, but until then, if we were all sitting at a table, if you could envision an event coming up, my part would be to share my